Commander Jake Harrison stood in the crystalline throne room of the Velnari Empire, his human uniform a stark contrast to the flowing, iridescent robes of the alien nobility surrounding him. The ceiling stretched impossibly high, its surface alive with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in rhythm with the Queen's heartbeat. Queen Zarathes towered above him on her living throne, her 6 arms gracefully arranged, her silver skin shimmering with emotional colors that shifted from deep purple to cautious blue. Her large, multifaceted eyes studied the human diplomat with an intensity that had intimidated countless ambassadors from across the galaxy. Commander Harrison. Her voice resonated through translation nodes embedded in the chamber walls. You stand accused of violating our most sacred laws. The penalty is molecular dissolution. Jake's jaw tightened, but he maintained his composure. 3 months ago, he had been part of the first human delegation to the Velnari homeworld, a diplomatic mission meant to secure safe passage through their territory for human colonies. What he hadn't expected was to find himself caring for an abandoned Velnari larva in the lower districts of the capital city. The child had been dying, cast out for being born with a genetic defect that left her unable to change colors like others of her species. In Velnari society, such children were considered cursed, left to perish in the urban sprawl beneath the gleaming spires of the nobility. But Jake couldn't walk away. Something fundamentally human in him, that stubborn refusal to let innocence suffer, had compelled him to act. "Your Majesty," Jake said, his voice steady despite the gravity of his situation, "I understand I broke your laws, but—" "Silence!" The Queen's colors flashed to angry red. "You dare speak of understanding? You, an alien, presume to interfere with our sacred traditions. You took a cursed child and— Father!" The word echoed through the throne room like a thunderclap. Every conversation ceased. The assembled nobles, hundreds of them, turned as one toward the source of the voice. There, at the great entrance to the chamber, stood little Kessiana. The Velnari child Jake had nursed back to health over 3 months was no longer the frail, colorless creature he had found. She had grown, her limbs more proportioned, her eyes bright with intelligence. But most shocking of all, she was changing colors. Not just changing them, but displaying them in patterns none had ever seen. Where typical Velnari showed solid hues or simple gradients, Kessana's skin danced with complex geometric patterns, shifting constellations of silver and gold that seemed to tell stories in light. She ran toward Jake on her 4 legs, her small arms reaching up to him. Without hesitation, he knelt and caught her in an embrace, feeling her tiny heartbeats against his chest. "Father," she whispered in perfect English, a language she had learned during their time together. "I was scared they would hurt you." The throne room was absolutely silent. Queen Zarathes had gone completely white, a color Jake had never seen a Velnari display. "Impossible," breathed High Counselor Murdoch, his usual composed demeanor shattered. "The child, she bears the mark of the ancestors." Jake looked up from Kessiana to see every Velnari in the chamber prostrating themselves. Even the Queen slowly descended from her throne. Her colors cycling through what Jake had learned indicated profound shock and reverence. The patterns on her skin, the Queen's voice was barely a whisper. "They are the lost language. The original script of our people thought extinct for 1,000 cycles." Kessana looked up at Jake with her large, trusting eyes. "Father taught me about colors," she said in Velnari, her translation perfect despite her young age. "He said every person has their own special light inside them. He helped me find mine." Jake felt a chill run down his spine as he began to understand. During their time together, he had simply been trying to help her understand that being different didn't make her worthless. He had shown her human art, talked about the beauty of diversity, encouraged her to explore what made her unique. He had no idea he was awakening something extraordinary. Queen Zarathes approached slowly, her colors now a deep gold that Jake instinctively understood meant reverence and awe. She knelt before the child, her own child, Jake realized with sudden clarity. "My daughter," the Queen's voice broke. "Forgive me. I did not see. I could not understand." Kasana tilted her head with childlike curiosity. Mother, Father says forgiveness is like sunlight. It helps everything grow better. The queen looked up at Jake, and for the first time since he had arrived on this world, he saw not the intimidating ruler of a galactic empire, but a mother who had made a terrible mistake. Commander Harrison, she said, you have given my daughter something I could not, the knowledge that being different is not a curse, but a gift. You have awakened in her abilities that were prophesied but never believed. She stood, her colors shifting to formal patterns of deep respect. By our oldest laws, one who awakens the lost language becomes guardian of our people's future. You have not violated our sacred traditions. You have fulfilled our most ancient prophecy. Jake looked down at Kasana, who beamed up at him with innocent joy, her skin painting stories of love and belonging in languages of light. In trying to save one abandoned child, he had somehow bridged two civilizations. Does this mean you'll stay, Father? She asked. Jake smiled, understanding that some choices transcend species, politics, and worlds. Yes, little star, I'll stay. The court erupted in harmonious tones of celebration, but Jake only had eyes for the remarkable child in his arms, a reminder that sometimes the most profound revolutions begin with a single act of compassion.